You should listen to that Nuzzlehouse thing, though, because I have a big monologue about becoming a masturbation phantom.
Okay.
I will give you no further context.
I don't know if I want further context. I think that's all the context
I
that
read your
want.
erotica. You should listen to this.
This isn't yours, though, Ben. You didn't write it. Anyway, words about books.
Words about books.
I'm Nate. I wrote an erotica. That's Ben. He starred
Read
in an erotica, I guess. So we are very, very qualified to discuss today's book.
Well, I take that issue with the description of my role in the process. We're here to talk about a third erotica.
Yes. Also the third erotica in the series. So, 3 squared. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it would have been even more poetic if we could have made it 3 cubed.
Yeah. Well, once you actually get around to writing something, come back to me. We can edit.
Oh, where's this spice coming from? I didn't know I was going to be so viciously attacked on my own podcast.
I was on vacation for the last 4 or 5 days. I've been relaxing. I've been chilling. And I just haven't had the ability to release my venom. I've been storing it up for this. I've been waiting. Talking about Fated, the third book of Sarah So Fine's trilogy that started with Marked.
I had a little bet with myself about how long it would take you to say Sarah So Fine.
Do you have any other bets?
I have a few things I think you may mention.
All right, perfect. Here's one of them. It stars Moros, the demon of death. He's the death guy. He's a Grim Reaper, right? And Aislind, is that one of them, Ben?
That's one.
Yeah,
That's one.
I know to say Ashlyn, but that one was for you, Big Daddy.
Thank you.
Papa Bear.
This is not the first time you've called me that.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh, we'll leave that up to the listeners to speculate.
Well, I'll give a very little amount of add context. Your wife told me to call you that, and no more further context. None. You have to fill in the blanks for yourself.
We initially read Marked in the first season of Words About Books.
Oh my god!
And it stuck with us. It was probably the first erotica we had read, and we decided that this just appeared on your Kindle one day. We have no idea how you acquired
there were
this
5
book.
other books. I'm like, where did these come from? Okay, I guess we're gonna do. We did the first judging books by their cover, and this was the most professionally done cover and description.
Yes. So, Marked 1, we brutally mocked it.
As it deserved. It was not great, Ben.
It was it was an erotica wrapped in a post-apocalyptic environmental collapse, wrapped in a Greek mythology urban fantasy.
Played by Irish people.
Yeah, and it was a lot.
It was a lot.
And
the two leads were, I'm thinking they were 30 something at least.
Yeah, they're in their 30s,
and they behaved like horny teenagers.
Yeah, it was really weird, but I think in retrospect, and I said this when we covered the second book, I think we were a little too hard on it. I think we had yet to hit Words About Books rock bottom at that point, and we didn't really know what a really bad book looked like.
I disagree. I think it deserved all the derision we threw its way.
I don't think we went
far enough. We didn't go.
I wouldn't say
harder.
That. I don't think we went too hard on it, but I do think we had more fun talking about it than we did a really truly bad book. There's just nothing there. It's the Bellamacchi type crap.
Got him.
Where it's not even fun to talk about. This was fun to talk about. There was so much going on. It's not boring. I'll give it that.
Oh, no, not at all.
And boring is the worst thing a book can be, in my opinion. I mean, Dune doesn't count. Dune is good boring. But
Good save. Good save.
Yeah, I know. Thanks. Because I just called it boring with John Beers. I think we were a little too hard on it. I think if we had read that in like season 3, we would have had a sunnier disposition. I think we were probably too hard on Sarah Fine.
Okay, I will admit we were probably too hard on her. I think the book, and we even said it during that episode, I think it was her first attempt at an adult book. Again, they came off as horny teenagers, and then in this book and the interquel that the second book claimed, they were much better done with the erotic stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone was acting their age is the important
thing.
They felt like adults having an adult relationship with other adults. And that's important.
So each book in the series features a different couple, which was something that surprised us with Claimed. We were expecting to follow the 2 main characters from Marked, and we were expecting that it would just be more of them, and we were a little concerned about that because we didn't like them. No. But we were very surprised to find out that they're gone. Like they're firmly background extras.
They pretty much are gone. They will show up like once every now and again to do something and then leave. Because as we discussed in the first book, the main characters were not the POV characters. Ashlyn was doing everything behind the scenes to solve the mystery.
By book 3, which is called Fated, we understood from the epilogue to book 2 that the main couple of this would be Ashlyn and Moros. And I said I was super excited about that. I was super jazzed about that.
They're the main characters, and they always have been for this entire series.
They're the best couple. They're the best characters. They're the hottest couple. They're a power couple. They're going to take on the world together. Like, this is where the story is finally going to match the romance. Like, the stakes, their relationship, their alliance is going to save the world. So right now, like, everything comes together. Everything hinges on them making this work. And that's a perfect setup. And I got to say, as I get into this book, I think it really worked. It was the perfect connection to the story. I loved how it tied in with everything that was happening. As a story, I think this is the strongest entry.
Yeah.
And it genuinely stands on its own. Perhaps so much so
too much
that it feels like it's an entirely different series.
Yeah, it's they stopped focusing a lot on like the environmental collapse and the world-saving pathogen killer or whatever that Galena was up to for the past 2 books.
The first 2 books build up a plot where everything revolves around fate. And fate is at risk of coming undone, which means chaos, which means there is no more world, there is no more life. And they're going to destroy fate because there is an opportunity that has never presented itself before, where the fate of every human being on the planet is tied to one particular point. And that point is Galena, who is working on an everything vaccine. It is literally nanomachines that can dynamically adapt to new pathogens and exterminate them in a way that keeps you healthy. There's no more cancer. There's no more bacteria, viruses, parasites. They're all gone. Prions. It's all gone. Everybody's going to live until they wear out, I guess.
You said nanomachines, so you have to put in a quote from Solid Snake now. I'm pretty sure that's required by law.
Why won't you die? Nanomachines, son. They harden in response to physical trauma.
You'll have to give that to me because I've never played those games.
Me neither, but I know the meme. Oh. All right, so okay. Yeah. That was what those 2 books were built upon.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about, right? Like, this is the opportunity. This is why it's all happening now, is because of Galena. Well, what if I told you there was a plan B?
That they came up with literally on the fly.
If Galena is hard to get to, I got a plan B. And my plan B is I just take Moros out back and I beat the shit out of him. Eh?
It's not exactly that, but it's pretty close. You're not
It's I
wrong.
stabbed Moros with a big sword.
They blew up a building surrounded by people. That was what got it.
So what?
Yeah. They killed so many more people that the fabric of fate could no longer, it came undone.
I guess. This book, it goes ham.
That's because the previous two books, really, it threw them in the trash for the most part.
It really did.
It really did.
Galena has one speaking line.
She shows up literally twice in the book, and one of those times I don't think she talks.
I made the joke that, like, it's like the actress who played her died. Like, Bruce Lee is in more scenes of his final film that he died making than Galena is this book. But then I remembered it's a book, and she could have been in it the whole time.
It's what happened with the Star Wars books and Obi-Wan. Alec Guinness was no longer around, so they had to get rid of Obi-Wan, Ben. We've been over this before.
Carrie Fisher is literally in more of whatever the hell the last movie was called, Rise of Skywalker.
I wanted to say The Last Jedi, but I think that was the eighth one.
That was the middle one.
Okay.
Yeah. Carrie Fisher was literally in more of The Rise of Skywalker than Galena was in Fated. And I was just like, okay, I don't care. I hated Galena. I don't care.
We did say that they had some serious tertiary character energy in that book where they were the main characters.
Oh yeah, they're just vanilla as fuck, man. Like they are the picture. They are every couple waiting to adopt a child. Just like just as vanilla as possible, as non-threatening as possible. They're just trying to like. That's not a knock. I'm just saying, like, that's the energy of like that couple that's just trying to present themselves as like the least edgy possible incarnation of a romance. That's Galena and Deck. And so I was ready. Like, I'm ready to get the edge back. I'm ready to have like my full, My Chemical Romance emo thing.
You're ready for your erection to have a blade on it, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sharp, edgy.
Sharp and edgy. And no point, like the pizza cutter. And that's kind of the perfect analogy to this. Is there's a lot of new lore. There's new dimensions.
There's new dimensions and new lore, and we never talk about canal pirates or canals or the world ending in an environmental collapse ever again. That is not important to the story and is not even really mentioned.
They have a problem here where everybody marries into the fairy family, and the fairy family is so rich it doesn't matter what happens to the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's almost like that's why the world is in this state to begin with. Somewhere along the line, the fairy family was like, do we really care if hot water costs $1 billion? Because, like, I got money. I could pay that every day for the rest of my exceptionally long life. Like, fuck them. I don't care. Let the world end.
Yeah. It's tough to imagine a world in which you can inject nanomachines into every human being on the planet to cure every conceivable ailment, but you can't use nanomachines to clean your toxic sludge river
that runs through your major city. Yes.
Or just like algae to clean it. I think there are ways to do that now.
We've already invented, I think it was algae that eats the PFAS, the plastic particles.
Yeah. I don't care. She's not an algae scientist, Nate. She's an everything doctor.
All the algae scientists died in the collapse of society.
Yeah.
They couldn't make it to Boston, the one city worth living in anymore. God, that's gotta suck.
There's no more algominers.
At least Tom Brady retired, am I right? Like, he's finally fucking gone after he did last year, but then came back.
It's not just a scam to dodge, like, alimony this time. That's what happened. Like, he retired to get divorced, right?
I think that he divorced because he came back.
That's just another reason why Boston sucks. Go Steelers. So.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't win the last Super Bowl, but, I guess one of your two teams were there. They didn't win either, but hey, better luck next time. I'm sure you guys go to the Super Bowl all the time.
Enjoy this while it lasts.
I will, Ben. You goddamn know I will.
I don't mind that you beat Philly. I don't care.
But yeah, let's dive into this book. So this is the world of Boston post Tom Brady and also environmental collapse. And it starts with Moros, the Lord of the Kyr. We said Kyrie is the plural and Kyr is the singular.
So I wanted to take a risk this time. I wanted to listen to the audiobook.
Oh my god.
Because I can't remember if this one was traditionally published or not.
I think it was.
I can't remember if this was indie or not.
I think it was.
I think you're right.
She had an editor and a publisher in her acknowledgments at the end.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the lady who does the audiobook, perfectly fine, but
is it?
I have some. So this is a thing where it's like
I have some concerns. For one thing, no Irish accents. What is that about?
I have some notes. No Boston accents. What is that about? Not a single person here sounds like they're from Boston. I want the majesty of Boston. I want my villains to be British and my heroes to be from Boston.
That sounds horrible.
You guys does.
Have a horrible accent.
It's the worst accent.
It's
I'm
saying
right
you guys
up there.
Like you're one of them.
It's right up there with like rural Australia.
New York is also pretty bad. Adding weird R's to places that don't have R's.
Who else can we offend?
Well, I could go through a list, man.
So I listened to this audiobook, and as a podcaster, somebody who spends a lot of their free time editing audio, I notice certain things in audiobooks. I notice where the session breaks were, for example. And I notice that in every audiobook. It's not just particular to this one. I can just tell when a sentence begins with a totally different energy than the sentence before it, no matter how hard they're trying to sound even-toned. In this one, there are multiple takes that use different pronunciations of the Greek gods.
Oh, dear.
She says Eris and Eris. She says...
Does she say Mjolnir at any point for no?
No, it's not that bad. They're all like somewhat legitimate pronunciations. They're just not consistent.
Okay.
I think she says cur for a singular.
Ooh, I don't like that.
She says cur and kier. So a singular demon man is a cur.
So are plural curry?
I think
delicious
they're kier.
Curry.
I think single is cur and plural is kier.
Okay, I don't like that, and I'm not going to pronounce it that way.
I don't know if that's correct.
I don't know either. That's why I'm not going to pronounce it like that.
Everything else was pretty close.
Did she
I think
Ashland?
I disagreed on. Oh, what's the lies? Is that Atropos?
I was going to say apostrophe, but yeah.
Okay, well, you're no help here.
I think Atropos is
I think it was
fate. It just makes me think of pate, okay? But I know it's aparte. That's what it is.
That can't be it. Okay, Greek
phonetic
god
spelling
of
that. There's also a pate and apate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
Jesus. This is your worst performance yet.
Yeah, I keep thinking of pate whenever I see that.
That's actually much closer than what you wound up going with.
Great.
I think it's apate.
A patty. Yeah, Krabby Patty.
Yeah, that's better. So I think she did say
filling
apate.
of meat and fat that is baked in a ... Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'll let you know as we get to the other
Nemesis.
Nemesis. You can't fuck up Nemesis.
I got Nemesis down.
Yeah, you can't screw up the ones that are like common English words.
Resident Evil pate.
Okay.
All right. You want to jump into this book now for real, or?
I just wanted to point out that like I listened to the audiobook to try to nail down some of these pronunciations, and in some cases I left more confused. So I did my best.
So yeah, Lord of Death Moros, right?
He's not the Lord of Death. That's the thing that pisses me off.
How is he not?
I'm sorry. Because isn't Thanatos death?
Thanatos doesn't exist in this, Ben.
Yeah, but But he would be, right? So the
But
problem is
he
Moros.
doesn't. Okay.
Moros
Look,
is not
this is
death.
Greek mythology mixed with Christian mythology. There's clearly like a devil and a god type thing, but they're not god. They're like lesser god, but greater god.
Why didn't they use Irish mythology? I don't care.
Because that would probably require research, Ben, and Greek mythology is more readily available in the schools.
I'll tell you why. Because if you think Greek shit is hard to pronounce, you should try Irish.
No, I've seen some of the names of their cities. I absolutely will not. So Moros is the Lord of Death in this version.
He's the Lord of Doom. I remember the tangent now. He's the Lord of
death.
Doom,
Who
not
gives
death.
A shit, okay? He goes around. His whole purpose is to kill people. You mark them for death, and then let the death get them, and then you get money for the death.
He dooms them.
I mean, he doesn't really doom them. What happens is his sister cuts a thread in the fabric of life. He gets a weird itching in his stomach, and he's like, I'm gonna make one of my minions go and mark that person. Then the person dies according to how his minion wished that they died. And then a fairy comes along to ferry their soul to the afterlife, but sometimes they run away and become a zombie, but if they don't, they either go to the heaven or the hell, and then a coin comes out, and the Kier has to break it in half with their teeth, and that's how you get gold for everyone to enjoy.
Why do you hate job creation?
And that's where mommy and daddy have babies. That's where they come from.
The Hoover Dam is just nonsense to you, I suppose? Like, you just don't like programs that try to put people back to work?
Yeah, it's all just nonsense to me, Ben. It's all nonsense. Maybe FDR should have just converted people into demons.
Didn't he?
I was waiting for you to say something about that. So here's where we learn that Moros has a mom. And also that you can just get rid of your corporeal form and become like a ball of light that just hangs around for some reason.
I knew that Moros had a mother. I played Hades.
So yeah, his mom beat Chaos back in the day and you have to give this appropriate flourish until later on when we find out the truth. The Blade of Life! It's an ancient weapon dipped within the spring of life and the only thing that can harm Chaos.
My mission is to kill Chaos. That's all I know.
Me too.
There's a Final Fantasy clip. Where's Chaos?
Are you Chaos?
I know that one.
Donkey covered.
From Donkey. Yeah. That's the only reason I know that one.
So he's asking his mom, like, Mom, I need that ancient blade of life to kill Chaos. Where'd you hide it? And she's like,
You are consorting with the severed Gorgon head, my child. Despite my wishes that you maintain respectful distances between yourselves.
She's my friend, Nyx. Look, I love you very much. You know I do, except you cannot choose my friends for me.
I'm not gonna tell you. Bye.
Whenever you're looking for something, it's usually in the last place you remember using it. And in this case... it's in Chaos's tomb.
Yeah,
so
it's right next to him.
Possibly in him.
Possibly in a glass case that says "break in case of chaos." You break that and go after him.
Dude. This is just a note. I'm putting this in for myself. Momo, if you ever do an animation for us again, I need in the background, it can be totally unrelated to this, but I need a break in case of chaos with a sword in it on the walls of our office.
All right, so Moros is like, well, damn. Guess I'm not finding that blade with the help of my mom. I guess I have been consulting these ancient tomes. That's what I was doing all last book. That's why you hardly saw me at all. I'm thinking maybe the blade's where Chaos is, and I'm thinking I know where that is, so I'll just go get that. But first, so this is it goes back and forth between him and Ashlyn, the way that it did between the other two protagonists in the other book. So Ashlyn's having a problem, Ben. And it's a problem that kind of solves itself pretty easily, right? She's called a board meeting, or someone else called a board meeting, and everyone on the board has turned on her. They don't think she's fit to be the Charon? Yeah, that's right. It's pronounced like Karen. It's fucking lame.
It's Charon, yeah.
Yeah, so she's not fit to be the Charon, the leader of all the fairies. That should go to Hugh, who I picture as like an obscenely fat-faced man for some reason, but I digress.
He definitely had an air of girth about him.
Okay, it wasn't just me.
No, I picture him as like, he's just like the most off-putting man you can imagine. Like I picture him red-faced, receding hairline that he has yet to embrace. Just a bad-fitting brown suit.
Wow.
I imagine a brown suit.
We're actually imagining the same thing, and I don't think they describe him much.
No, they don't at all. They describe him going down on Nemesis, which is weird.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was supposed to be one of the sexy bits, but it was not because of the aforementioned Hugh I pictured.
Yeah. Don't tell me you wouldn't, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, Nemesis comes along. I mean, you gotta get some. Just a little bit.
You gotta. It doesn't her touch just like spark feelings of pure rage?
Yeah.
That can't.
And vengeance.
How does intimacy work if you're just living the entire time?
I don't know if intimacy is the word for it, Ben, but
I can't use any other words. I'm trying to keep this like PG. Here. But yeah, so Hugh's an asshole. But this is the scene where we finally address your arguments. It's almost like she listened to this podcast, even though I know she wrote all these books before we did this.
I know. They're like, why are we spending all of our money on this Galena bullshit? And she's like, well, if she succeeds, there'll be more births, and thus more people will die, and we'll get even more money. And they're like, I'm gonna try to... My jowls are flapping in my face. There's no guarantee we're gonna live that long. And she doesn't go like, motherfucker, you could live like 300 years. Like, what?
Yeah, they don't plan long term for people who are going to live for like thousands of years.
Yes. I don't think it was thousands, but it was definitely hundreds and hundreds of years.
Isn't it pretty much until they give it with Seamus? Till they give up the scope, I think they just keep on trucking. I think they age very, very slowly.
Yeah, they age until they're a mature adult, because otherwise it'd be fucking weird. And then they age very slowly from there, unless you're Seamus, in which case you're just so fucking awesome that you stay the same crotchety old man forever. It's great. I wish he was in this book. Kind of lame that he wasn't, but you know.
Do you know they also address one of my shitty concerns?
What?
So back in the first season of Words About Books, I used Marked to introduce something I thought might be a recurring segment, but it never really happened, which was the Bad Faith Criticism Corner, one of my many corners. Remember when I had corners? Yeah. So this is nostalgic. So I did like a mathematical analysis of like the price of gold and just like the sheer amount of gold that would be flooding the market. Ashlyn has a flashback at one point where her father steps in and like, I was going to say nixes a deal, but that would be confusing with the god of darkness. Axes a deal. I don't think that's a god. He axes it because she's going to like flood a market with gold, and that's going to take out like a couple of more impoverished nations. And he's like, no, we don't do that. So you're just going to have to hang on to that gold and you can't release it. And I was like, oh my God, they're hoarding gold. So that's how they control the price. They're actually monitoring it and they're being responsible about it.
Oh my God.
Sarah Fine anticipated all of our shitty criticism. I still don't understand why they're rewarded with gold.
That's all they had in heaven and hell. Didn't you know that? Paper money would just burn up in hell, and we don't have paper money in heaven because it's heaven. I mean, obviously. So, like, yeah.
Okay.
Gold coins.
I don't want to relitigate this, so we'll just move on.
So here's the gist of this. Everyone wants to vote Hugh in. Moros interrupts them, and the meeting dismisses. But it looks like Ashlyn is screwed because tomorrow they're going to hold this meeting again. Moros won't be there to interrupt it, and she'll be stripped of status as the Charon. Except, Ben, you need Moros' permission.
Speaking of interrupting, Moros has a southern accent.
Yeah, that's awful. Thank you for ruining things with your crappy audiobook listen through.
In the audiobook, Moros talks like this.
Yeah, that's
And he's always like,
sexy.
Miss Ashlyn, I do declare your tatas are on
Does Ashlyn
point.
speak with a uptight, posh British accent?
Oh yeah, she does. Not British, but yeah, no, she definitely has like, and I am going to the board meeting now, and I am going to do business things.
Posh girls don't need to wear bras.
I have several manila folders with important documents in them, and I will thank you not to ruffle them as you blow my mind.
Okay. But yeah, the whole point of this scene is the board is turned on her. She's going to get voted out of power. But the only way for that to be finalized is if Moros agrees, and Moros isn't going to do that.
You know why they can't emphasize that Moros needs to approve?
Because then there would be no tension to the scene?
No, because then there's every reason for Moros not to trust Ashlyn. Because she could just be flirting with him so that he'll take her side and secure her position. So they really can't emphasize that part of the relationship.
Because they had to emphasize that the two of them don't initially trust each other.
I think it would have been tough, because then this is one where I think like she did plan that, but then she's like, how do I resolve it? How do I get them to trust each other? Because you can't see her future.
A good dicking. Duh.
But Dr. Tran sets him straight with a good, hot dicking.
Does anybody remember Dr. Tran? Do you remember Dr. Tran?
No, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Dr. Tran's giving away the hot dickings.
Oh god, that is the early days of the internet. I'll have to send that to you later.
Yeah, not if it's on Flash, buddy.
Dr. Tran will be down at your local record store this Tuesday from 4 till 9, just giving out hot dickings.
It was on Flash, but somebody had to have gotten that.
Just passing them out.
So, oh yeah, everyone in that meeting's real dismissive of the whole chaos thing.
Chaos isn't a man or a monster. Chaos is just a fairy tale.
I'm like, I don't know. Ryland is a demon now.
God, I wish Ryland were here. He's so smart. Remember that time I think he was playing chess. There was a chessboard near him. I think he picked up one of the pieces and put it down. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure they were moved correctly, but I mean, why would he have a chessboard if he didn't? It couldn't just be to look like a villain. He was in his little Magneto room made of plastic. Did you picture it like the Magneto room?
Kind of.
I did. Yeah, okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, but no, they almost do talk about how maybe we should team up with Ryland. Maybe Ryland is the bomb. Maybe Ryland knew what this was all about, and you're a little usurper there.
Yeah, even though they hate the Cure and they're fearful of them.
There's a thing I don't get. Is
only one? Okay.
There's a couple of things I don't get, but it's satisfying in the end, I guess, is like, why do you hate the Cure?
Because they take half our money, Ben. They take
The
half
only
of our
reason-
gold coins, and they kill people, Ben. They're monsters, Ben.
So do you.
No, I ferry their souls to the afterlife. Sometimes that means eternal damnation and hell, but that's just my job. I don't get to decide.
You're literally going to bury this vaccine that would save lives so that more people will die to give you money.
Well, funny story about that. All right, you ready for this? All right. Shut up.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, I know you didn't, dick. Why can't you be more like your father?
That's why I'm only a 54th cousin in this family of freaks. Still waiting for that Seamus.
Number 4, Seamus and whoever.
Number 4. No more fancy titles. It's just number 4, Seamus. And it's not Servants of Fate. It's no gods, no masters. Seamus. It's a John Wick type story about an Irish Grim Reaper tattoo artist. He owns a bar.
All right, so Moros drops in, and he's like, hey, I think that all my siblings kind of hate me. At least those 3. Not the Fates. They're cool, right? They're cool. Yeah, they're cool. So, except maybe one of them. I don't know yet. Anyway, I'm going to go find this thing. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Okay, bye! And then Ryland appears immediately afterwards. He's like, hey, remember me from the end of the last book? Where I'm here to say the exact same thing as last time. I'm going to try and get you to join me. I'm not really going to explain what chaos is or how it benefits me personally that he's unleashed. But, alright, you're not going to join me? Oh, okay, well, bye.
So Ryland turns into a kind of comic relief character because...
Yeah, he does. He's...
Here's how I've always understood chaos from Greek mythology. Chaos is kind of like the Gununga Gap in Norse mythology, where it's just like the void. It's pure disorder, pure entropy. Nothing exists within it. All matter is scattered as far as it can scatter, and there's just nothing. That's chaos. And then when things start to become ordered, and they start to make structures and become matter and energy and life, that's not chaos. That's the opposite of chaos. And so the Greek myth of all these gods being born out of chaos, that's kind of the something from nothing. And now we have this. And then the gods start out primordial, and then they become titans, which are a little more human. And then they become the Olympians, which are even more human, and so on. So when Ryland is talking about let's unleash chaos, it's like, Ryland, that's like proton decay, heat death of the universe stuff there, buddy.
That sounds really bad, Ryland. Why are we doing that?
I don't think you're gonna have your little chessboard and your little suits. I don't think that's gonna work out, man. This isn't just like a change in leadership.
Hey, the Lord of Lies personally promised me that I would be the leader. I will retain my demon cure powers, and I'll get to lead the fairies once again, once chaos is released.
Ryland, I just think like maybe sometimes like maybe you don't read the whole contract.
No, well, the Lord of Lies told me to just kind of scroll through the end. I don't need. I mean, it's just like it's the end user agreement. Like, who cares, right? Just scroll, sign right here.
Yeah. Did you like it might even be funnier if like he doesn't know like what apathy is the god of. he just never bothered to study Greek mythology when he got this job. He's just like, what do you think apathy is the god of, Ryland? And he's like, I don't know, like farming. Who's the god of rice?
Ashlyn's even thinking about it like your mistress is the Lord of Lies, but she never says that.
It seems pretty self-explanatory. She does say, does she keep your soul in a little box? Which, like,
I'm not a slave, if that's what you're asking.
Oh, do you get paid? Do you get assigned to work, but then do you get paid for it?
Satisfaction. Hey, did you know if we do this plan, our family can rule the entire planet as if we didn't already? How about that?
I don't think there's going to be a planet, though, Ryland. Like, I don't think you know what chaos means.
Chaos means, like, all right, so chaos comes out, right? And chaos starts kicking over buildings like Godzilla, maybe a few volcanoes and earthquakes, natural disasters, and the chaos goes away and we rebuild and become the Lord of everything.
Have I ever told you the story of my college dorm and freedom of speech?
No.
I'm going to tell you because it really relates to Ryland right now, because there was a guy I lived right next to, and I was actually decent friends with. He got really drunk and really high all the time. He wound up not finishing his major. College was not for him.
Okay.
But he got rowdy drunk, and the RA was like, "You're gonna have to keep it down, man. It's quiet hours, okay?" And he's like, "No, fuck you, no, I'll just go outside. You know what, man? It's because this is like bullshit, man. Because like I'll just go outside. You know what? It's not quiet hours outside. It's freedom of speech outside." and then the RA was like, "No, it's still quiet hours outside." And he did go outside, and we found him asleep in a snow pile the next morning.
Oh,
yeah, no, he was fine.
Oh,
dear. He bounced right back.
Could have easily died there, buddy.
Man was built like a bear.
I knew
I don't know.
someone. Well, I didn't know him personally, but I think I had a friend who knew him. Guy was at a party, wasn't used to drinking. Eyewitnesses said that he drank a whole bunch, wandered off. It was snowing. He was dead. He found in someone's backyard, frozen to death.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, this guy just fell asleep on top of the plowed snow. Yeah, no, he was good. But yeah, so that's how I imagine Rylan, where Rylan's like, you know what chaos is? Chaos is freedom of speech. Chaos.
I don't have
Chaos
to go
is-
to jail.
Chaos is a bikini bar in Miami on a hot summer day. Chaos. What isn't chaos? Let me tell you.
I was thinking of that commercial, but I think he's Mayhem. So
Oh, State Farm.
so close. So yeah, Moros is like, all right, I'm gonna go find the Blade of Life. And he goes in, he finds Chaos's tomb. He's like, not today, Chaos, you son of a bitch, because the blade is right. Oh shit. Oh
There's
shit,
just a
there's no blade. There's no
Blade-shaped mark in the dust.
There's a sticky note with a picture of a butt on it. So yeah, that's a weapon that could kill Moros. So not only does he need it to kill Chaos, it could kill him. Doubly an issue. Meanwhile, Ashland's talking about how he wants Moros to give her the bad touch.
Ashland engages. So first, Ashland goes to Casey to get advice on how to negotiate.
Oh my god. Oh yeah. Casey's a fucking great negotiator.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to our episode on Marked.
You can put in a clip and you can do a low pass filter or whatever, and we just take a...
Casey's just like, God damn it, Morris, what do I have to give you to bring him back? What? Name your price. I'll do anything. Just bring Eli back. He's like, but I did. Yeah, I told you, you're gonna find he's not in the. You son of a just bitch. Name your price, damn it. Do you need to touch me again? You son of a bitch. Morris takes off his glove and he's like, it's just you're taking the fun out of it.
Yeah.
Like.
So Ashland goes to ask Casey, like, how do you negotiate with Morris? She's actually asking, like, how do you, or what does it feel like when he touches you? Because when Morris touches a person, he sees their entire fate, which doesn't really make sense considering his role.
Also considering fate can change, because apparently Casey's fate changed. I did not know that until this book. I don't think it was mentioned in the first book where she was a main character, or in the second book at any point. So my quote was,
actually
wait, what?
Yeah, that was actually a pretty big thing. If fate can change, it's not really fate.
Turns out they're not going to have that green-eyed child because fate changed when Eli died.
Casey's like, yeah, no, it's actually the worst thing in the world when he touches you. I nearly killed myself.
And
so Ashton's like, Moros, I really need you to trust me. And Moros is like, already do. Definitely trust you. We already signed our pact, we're in this together now. There's really no way you could back out. It'd be suicide. You've staked your whole reputation on me. So no, we're good. And she's like, nope, no, you need to touch me. He's like, nope, that's really painful experience for everybody I touch. I don't know why you would want that. That's not advisable, Ashland.
God damn it,
Moros. Nope. Moros, I don't think you understand. I need you to know I'm not going to betray you. And he's like, I really didn't think you were going to, but the more you keep mentioning this, it seems like you're trying really hard to convince me of something I was already convinced of. And it seems like maybe you've got a guilty conscience. Or she's like, just touch me, damn it. Touch me.
God damn you, Moros. What's the price it's going to take for you to touch me? You son of a bitch.
How much is it going to cost? Touch me. Touch me. She's coming on just a little strong. I don't look at me with your eyes.
It's been a long couple days for you, Ben.
So Nate, you really got to listen to the thing I record with Nuzzle House, because Shy is having a lot of no context podcast conversations here. I'm just sitting here screaming, touch me, touch me. She's like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, God.
We're getting an elderly gentleman to touch this woman. Come on.
Possibly Southern. Maybe has a mint julep. So, Moros is in his inner monologue, he's like, okay, look, this whole situation is just sus as hell. But I ain't gonna lie. Kind of want to touch her. Kind of want to touch her with little Moros.
It's a grower, not a shower. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I was just in the mountains of hell. It's cold at the top
back in the day, like 2,000+ years ago, this was considered normal. Is what I'm saying.
Look,
okay.
Yeah, big ones were like offensive.
Yeah.
But no time to think about that. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna have to play this cunning. Okay, I'll touch you. And he takes off his glove. his little Michael Jackson glove. And he's like, "Are you ready for my warm touch?" And she's like, "Yeah, huh?" I'm acting, Nate. I'm a one-man show. And she so he I forget where he grabs her. Is it like her neck?
I think it's like the back.
Oh yeah, like he puts his hand up under her shirt on the small of her back. And she's like, "Oh!" And he's like, "Oh!" And they're both like, and it's nothing. There's eternal darkness. She's dead. She's gonna die. It's the sleep of death. Her future is nothing. It's a cold, dark void.
That's actually a normal reaction. It happens to everybody. You were a little anxious. It was the first time that you've touched Ashlyn. There's a lot of reasons for this, Ben. Okay, you know.
Yeah. Well, and you know, it's not even a joke. That's kind of how it plays in the book. Because she's like, what did you see? And he's like, I didn't see anything. And she's like, what does that mean? He's like, I don't know. It's never happened to me before.
That doesn't normally happen, you know.
Well, try again. Here. Touch more of me.
Well, hold on.
Pops her shirt.
You need to give me a moment. I need to recuperate. I need to go drink a glass of water. I need to go on the internet and look at some images of stuff. Don't worry about that. I need to maybe go take some medicine that the doctor prescribed me. Give me a moment. I'll be right back.
Hastily runs out of the room. Okay, I'm back. And I'm ready. Touch me, Morris. And he does. He goes in for the touch again. He's like, nothing. And then he goes away and she's like, what does it mean? He's like, it means you're going to die. Because I can't let anyone know about this. And he kills her because he has a tiny pee-pee. That's the end.
That's the end of the...
No.
Yeah, there you go. Chaos came out. Morris was like, this is definitely preferable to everyone knowing.
No, and she's like, how do you know that if, like, you haven't had this happen before?
Shut up. It happens to everyone, okay?
I'm not allowed. It might have happened a few more times, but you know, like it hadn't happened in a while, you know. And like, look, the point is, you're gonna die. Okay, so like that's on you. So I gotta go.
Yeah, bye. he just leaves, and that's it.
I just suddenly remembered. There's never an awkward situation when you can teleport.
Yeah. Yep. Bye.
I forget the exact flow of events at this point. So he does just bounce,
fucks off.
Right?
Yeah, he fucks off. He's like, it means you're gonna die. Poof. Done. He goes back to see his sisters, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So he goes back to see them. Oh, man. Okay. So in the audiobook, the sisters. Okay, there's the one of them.
The cheeses?
Okay. This was the one... I'm gonna look it up, okay?
Cheeses and
okay, so you're
apostrophe.
Okay. The way I always thought this was pronounced, and I wanted to look this up to make sure I wasn't crazy. I always thought it was Lachesis.
I like your pronunciation better than mine.
Or I thought it was Lachesis or Lachesis. In the audiobook, it's Lachesis.
Oh, God. That sounds worse.
I don't know if that is terrible. I didn't think there was a ch sound in Greek, but I could be wrong. I don't know Greek that well.
Hercules.
Heracles, but...
Hercules gonna hurt ya. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. So, I'm going to say Lachesis.
Okay.
But in the audiobook, it's Lachesis. And Lachesis, as she says, has the softest young little girl voice in the world.
Okay.
Moros, we've been here for so long without you. What are we going to do? Oh my god.
There's also Clotho or Clotho. I think Clotho. I'm going to go with Clotho.
Clotho's kind of like the goth chick of the group. She's just over there doing her own thing.
No, that's apostrophe.
Atropos, isn't Atropos the mad one?
Yeah, she's the one who hates
No,
Moros.
because okay, so describe Clotho's personality to me then.
I don't remember Clotho of the three of them.
Exactly, Clotho she doesn't even come
talk.
out.
Yeah, she doesn't come out.
She doesn't
Moros
even come out,
talks
yeah.
with Lachesis and Atropos. Whatever.
Atropos.
Atrophy is like, fuck you, Moros. You suck. You left us here. Fuck you. I'm just gonna keep cutting my thread because you suck. Go fuck yourself. Hey, right here, buddy. Yeah, that's right. I'm flipping you off. You suck. And Lachesis is like, Moros, I don't know how your souls keep getting taken, but like, do you think it's Atropos? Do you think it's Atropos? Ben, do you think it's Atropos? Could Atropos be betraying Moros? She seems to really dislike him. Do you think that she's betrayed him?
So I'll tell you what I didn't get about this whole situation. What I didn't get about this whole situation was why Moros cares.
Like, they're his sisters.
Atropos' whole thing is she's like, oh yeah, you get to go out and run around and cavort and touch on fancy ladies. And I'm stuck here cutting threads all day, every day for the last 2,000 years. And it's like, okay, well, what the hell do you want me to do about
that?
Like,
have you talked to God yet? Because God might be willing to grant you some sort of leave.
She's like, you had your rebellion, but we didn't get anything out of it. And he's like, well, it was my rebellion. I fought. What did you do?
Yeah, I'm reaping all the rewards because I did all the risk.
Like, hey, you know what I did when I didn't like my job? I grabbed a sign and I went on strike. If you guys want to do that, go nuts. I don't know why you're not. If you don't want to do it, don't do it.
My thing
Who the hell cares?
All the major players like the Charon and the Mother, who we'll get to, and Moros, they can all make minions that they can delegate to. Why couldn't the Fates get some minions?
Well, and we're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
The answer to many of these questions is like, why does Ryan believe Chaos is going to leave a world to rule over?
The answer is because he's dumb.
The answer is because he's very stupid. And the answer to why the Fates have not done anything to improve their situation is because they're very stupid.
Yeah, they're very dumb. They're a bunch of dumb idiots.
Also, Moros' rebellion was like 2,000 years ago, right?
Yes.
Am I imagining that?
They kept mentioning that. And I was thinking, wait a minute. Like,
is Moros Jesus?
I was about to ask the same thing. I was like, does that put him around the time of Jesus?
It does. I mean, that's why it's 2000 now.
Yeah, that's
we could call it the current era, but we all know it's the Christian era.
It's a little
weird. At least those of us who don't write heathen erotica know that.
Hey, my erotica was very tastefully religious, okay?
Your erotica featured the occult prominently.
Yeah, but it's powered by God.
Oh, is that the headcanon you went into that with? Come, we're warriors for Christ. Let's take on this cyborg.
Oh, so yeah, Ben, let's just spoil this betrayal, right? So in the first book, Deck is doing some weird stuff. He's in places he shouldn't be. And Ashlyn is... The book keeps saying that she's like the Ice Queen. She's never really gotten along with Casey. Why does she hate me so much? She sucks. But Ryland, he's dependable and trustworthy. And oh wait, no, he was the villain. Oh my god. The second book, it was like, again, Ashlyn. God, what an Ice Queen. And it's really weird too, because there's a new Kier named Aaron who happens to be at the scene of any crime that's happening with the Kier. And oh my god, she was the villain the whole time. My immediate thought, when one of Morris's sisters said, "Do you think that Atrophy," I'm just calling her that, "do you think that she might be secretly betraying you, Moros?" was that she's the only one not betraying him. And I was right. Turns out the two Fates who are pretending to like Moros are the bad guys. And the one that Moros suspects the most, who outwardly hates him, she is not in on the plot. Wow.
I always thought, I thought from the epilogue of Marked that the Fates were sus. I was expecting something to go on with that, and the fact that they kept bringing up that they had this grudge against Moros, that there was any grievance whatsoever, I was just like, I truly think that this was a little bit of a flaw in the construction of the story. I don't understand why Moros is responsible.
Because he didn't do enough for us, okay? He was supposed to bring all of us to a greater prosperity, and he screwed us over.
Yeah, this is one of those things that I kind of wish it had been fleshed out over perhaps 3 books.
No, Ben, we didn't have 3 books, okay? We just had this one book.
I know. It's because everything's a trilogy these days, and she really just wanted to write one good book.
Yeah.
And so I get that. Yeah.
I
mean, I respect that, but yeah, that was just one piece of the lore where I was like, I don't have a very clear picture of Moros's rebellion, and it seems like a lot of this plot hinges on a very intimate knowledge of who the main players were and who felt slighted and why, and I don't know any of these people. Half of them are only introduced in this book.
Yeah, you would think the fairies would actually be really grateful to Moros, because their position was created as a result of his rebellion, but they all hate him.
She has a clear image, she being Sarah Fine, has a clear image of what Moros's rebellion looked like. But this is where I was like, there's a lot here. There's a lot of lore and world building. So much so that, you and I write, and we have attempted to come up with worlds and such, and world building is hard. And I think, Seraphine, this is maybe to her credit, has such an imagination. She came up with this whole world of sci-fi elements and fantasy elements and all the Greek mythology and everything, and then she just throws it away and goes on to the next project.
To be fair, she came up with a lot of the stuff for this trilogy and threw away a lot of the first 2 books to come up with more stuff.
Well, but that's the thing. It's tough for me to say it's pure negative, because in a way I'm a little jealous of this isn't all really fleshed out. There's something there. And with a little bit more work, it could be certainly as compelling a world as the Dresden Files. which ran forever and he got a ton of books out of. But that's my point, is like, I'm not even really insulting the Dresden Files. I'm just saying that, like, if you were going to put this much effort into thinking of this much stuff and this many characters and all these systems of magic and fate and environmental collapse and all this stuff, you'd think that, like, you'd use it.
Well, my counterpoint to that is if you examine any part of this world for a significant length of time, it doesn't make any goddamn sense and it collapses under itself.
I don't think that's a...
Ben, if I had all the money in the world and I lived outside of a toxic sewer...
Why would you buy hot water? I know.
Why would I not clean that first?
I get you. But my counterpoint to that is the urban fantasy market is kind of rife with worlds that if you, like, it's an old pair of gym shorts. If you just pull on that loose thread, it's just all going to come undone.
So you're saying I could write urban fantasy?
I'm saying anyone can write.
Oh my God.
I like urban fantasy. I actually do. But you got to admit that a lot of it is kind of campy or soap opera-y or high drama. It's not there to be this, like, super consistent Tolkien Middle-earth historical mega structure. It's just there to have a couple of cool scenes, and who cares if 3 vampire courts doesn't make any sense? Who cares if Dresden always has just a little bit more magic in his rod?
I've got just enough to pour the rest of my magic of my magic into my rod to blow up this vampire. After that, I'll be spent unless I need just a little more.
Well, but in general, like, and that is dumb, and that is something that could be improved upon. It doesn't ruin the story. I don't think people reading the Dresden Files really care. And I don't know that they should. Like, I was thinking, like, I would read another story set in the Marked world, or the Servants of Fate world, whatever you want to call it. Because, like, I don't feel like I got any closure on this, to be honest with you. And that's...
Ben, we saved the day. What more do you want? Spoiler alert, they win. We're done.
We'll touch on this. This will probably be at least 2 parts, but...
Yeah, it will be.
We're going to touch on this again and again, that... As a story, I think this works, but I'm left with so many questions about the world.
Ben, now that you have gone to this big thing on world building, let's talk about Shadecure, because that's right next.
Okay, yes, let's do that.
Yeah, okay. So here's my understanding, Ben. Ready? When you die, you become a spirit. And if that spirit runs away from the fairy trying to send them to heaven or hell, usually hell, I mean, why would they run away from heaven? They eventually go insane and become ravenous, and that's what's called a shade, right? Shade is basically your spirit or your soul. Okay? Right? With me so far? Okay. A Kier is a person whose soul is removed, usually by Moros, and they get all sorts of supernatural powers in exchange for being leashed to a master. So a Kier is a person without a soul, and a shade is a soul without a person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when someone comes along and turns a bunch of shades into Kier, like, what are they removing? There's nothing more to remove from the shade to make them a shade Kier. Like, imagine you open up an Oreo and you take out the cream filling, and then you close the sandwich back up, and then you open it up and take out the cream filling a second time. Like, there's no more cream filling then. You already ate it. Cream filling's gone. Where are you getting this extra cream filling from in your Oreo? Where'd it come from, Ben?
Well, what if the soul... World of Warcraft.
Okay.
World of Warcraft. Okay. I have played that game here and there since I was in high school.
Okay.
So you got souls, right?
Right.
Okay. So people can die in Warcraft. So they had this expansion called the Shadow Realms.
Okay.
Hi, Momo. I hope you're still listening. You're the only one who's going to get this. So I think it was Shadowlands. It was called the Shadowlands.
Yeah, the Shadow Realms from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Whatever. Yeah, because Jimbo. We're going to send you to the Shadow Realm, Jimbo. Okay. Oh boy.
Oh my god, I actually got that reference. I thought about it for a moment, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon. So that's like the one piece of media you paid attention to. Great. Okay.
I don't know what a Taylor Swift is, but Jimmy Neutron and Yu-Gi-Oh combined. That's my shit.
Yeah, you gotta listen to more Unsighted podcasts. They did a breakdown of a Taylor Swift one. So, Shadowlands. Okay, you got souls.
Okay.
Souls go to the Shadowlands.
Okay.
But also, now you'd think the soul is kind of the energy that animated the body, right?
Right.
Right. You're wrong.
Okay.
Because there's souls, but there's also anima.
Okay.
Now anima is a video game resource.
Okay.
And it doesn't really make any goddamn sense. But it's anima is the energy that animates things.
Okay.
And so the anima is still around, separate from the soul. So I'm thinking what happened here, we got a classic soul anima situation. And you reach in and you pull. Now hear me out, man. You reach in and you pull the cream filling out of the Oreo, right? But in doing so, some of the structure of the cream changes, and you get the cream essence. You get the cream. You get the cream, but you don't get the filling.
Oh my god.
Right? So you pull the cream out, but the filling remains a zombie that can attack.
Okay, so normally, right, you're a big man, okay? When you die, your body, that's the two outside buns, those are left behind. And a Kier is when Moros comes in and he takes out the middle bun. So the Shade Kier are completely bunless. They don't have any of their 3 buns. They're just meat and veggies and sauce.
Is every human being a club sandwich with a magic third bread?
I don't see the difference. I feel like the Big Mac is the club sandwich at McDonald's. Am I right?
So you pull out the bread, okay? Or so you kill
We're
them.
Still talking about this.
And that's you take off the bun, right? And you just have the filling, but the lettuce remains. And the lettuce is a deadly zombie that attacks the fairy family. It's getting them. And it's getting them. And you can't kill. Everybody knows this. You can't kill lettuce. You can't fill the filling, you know? And so you gotta take your watch, your scope.
Ryland's plan and idea, by the way. I can imagine he's like, why don't we just turn all the shade into Kier? And they're like, God damn it, Ryland, that's so stupid, it's genius.
That's thinking outside the bun, and that's where Taco Bell comes in. And so Taco Bell, you pull your scope open.
Because we gotta remove that third bun.
The grilled steak taco. Tender slices of steak marinated in Mexican spices and grilled to perfection. For a taste that's irresistible. For authentic carne asada steak, think outside the bun.
So there's two things you can do with the Shade Cure. You can take open your scope and you can send it to hell, because that's hell's problem now. That does not put their soul in the afterlife, because their soul is in a box somewhere.
Yeah, so they don't get money for it. It's real unfortunate.
So you're just sending empty calories to hell. And we will see the Keeper of Hell is very lean. He's in a cut cycle right now. Okay, so he's not going to appreciate that. He's not going to appreciate all these fatty lettuce calorie fillings coming into
fatty lettuce.
He's not going to appreciate.
We've got way too much fat on this lettuce.
Your buttery fat lettuce coming in to his domain. So every time we ferry, and they always go to hell for some reason. I don't know. I guess because they attack. So they go to hell. That's one way. You can have your scope send them to hell. The second way to get rid of one of these things is to have Moros touch it.
And instead of seeing their future, he destroys them utterly and completely.
Yeah, which shouldn't be one of his powers.
Yeah, but it is. So,
This is where my hero comes into play.
Deal
it's
with
a Shigaraki Tomura situation where All for One has put the quirk inside of Moros. He's actually got multiple quirk factors. And now he's... I lost the thread.
Yeah, you did.
I lost the thread, Nathaniel. Club sandwiches.
So, yeah, Moros, the Shade Cure. So we often joked in the last two episodes, the last two books, I should say. If you threw someone into a volcano, or you ran them over with a steamroller, Looney Tunes style, but they weren't marked, they would still be alive.
Obviously.
So the Shade Cure had the ability to both mark you and then kill you, thus circumventing the problem altogether. Checkmate. Just like Rylan said.
Yep.
Just like in Independence Day. Rylan learned from Independence Day. You move all your pieces into position in chess, and then you move them all at once and capture the day.
But while you were playing chess, Ashlyn was playing Nemesis. World of Warcraft.
Oh.
And she's on Mythic 9.
Hugh's grunts became rhythmic.
What?
That's after that, Ben.
Oh, God. Okay, yeah. Okay, so tell me about Hugh's rhythmic
So the Shade Cure attack, and Moros uses all of his Cure to start killing them all. Casey gets her ass kicked. What else is new? And then Ashlyn is like, oh my God, Hugh wasn't doing anything except boinking his hot secretary or whatever. And he's like, why are you boinking a hot secretary? And she's like, I'm not just a secretary. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm definitely a minor god, but don't think about that. And Hugh just fucking loses his mind, possibly because he's got to be naked from the waist down as he's confronting her, right?
I don't think so.
That's got to be really weird.
I don't know why you picture, okay, so I'm with you on the overweight. I'm with you on the receding hairline. Real barren situation here. And much like Dune, you just keep picturing him nude.
He's gotta be.
No one said that.
Her, right?
When no one said that. Why does he have to be nude from the waist down? Why can't he just...
My thing is, why doesn't Ashlyn just kill him right now, right? Just strip him of his fairy powers and shoot him in the head. He just threatened to kill her after he becomes the Charon. So that's when you go, all right, you're done then. You're no longer a fairy, and I've got my gun. Bam! Done.
I think it's because Ashlyn always has to be Planny McSchemerson.
Yeah, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. In this case, everyone has a plan until they get shot.
Well, I think Ashlyn, Moros is eventually gonna take care of this, so...
Yeah.
I was thinking this, I'm with you. Normally this is a criticism I have in books is okay, if I have all these powers and everything, and you really can't stop me, why would I entertain your nonsense? But in this case, because that's resolved pretty quickly
his
for
last
me.
name was not Hugh, it was Holden.
His first name was Hugh.
Hugh Holden.
Hugh Holden Ferry. He's going to release all the information.
So, yeah, Ashlyn and Moros, they almost do a thing, but then Moros is like, no, we still have 2/3 of the book left to go. This is forbidden right now. I can't do this. This was a mistake. Poof. He disappears, and then Ryland appears with Eris. They just grab Ashlyn, and teleport her away to mentally torture her.
Yeah, then we can have the whole, like, thought he liked me, but then he teleported away.
Yeah, and then they fill her head with lies and nemesis.
Oh, can I tell you something? This reminds me of something.
Okay.
So I'm listening to this audiobook, right? And as we may or may not have established on the podcast, I can't remember. I walk a lot.
Yeah.
I walk
you
very
establish
far
this all
away.
the time. We get it. You like walking.
Yeah. So I usually walk 2 places. Actually, something I look for in an apartment. I like a walkable neighborhood. So I'm listening to this audiobook and I'm walking. I like to walk to like Starbucks or this grocery store. So I walk into Starbucks and like every time this book was ready to get real embarrassingly graphically sexual, I was speaking to another human being with my earbuds in. I'm at Starbucks. I'm in line, and I was just like real quick, like, yeah, venti dark roast with the shot of half and half. And as soon as I say venti dark roast, Ashlyn says, I want you inside me. I stuttered, ordering my goddamn coffee.
Yeah, this is what the app is for, Ben.
I know that now. When I'm walking, I don't usually bother because I don't know when I'm going to arrive. But
Ashlyn didn't know when she was going to arrive. You know what I'm saying?
And then again, I walked into, Sheets. You've been to Sheets. I'm ordering my MTO. Great. Yeah, I'm ordering my MTO sandwich. I'm just sitting there pushing the buttons. And then it's like, oh, God, I forget what it was. I think it was like, oh, she's like doing something else in the psychological torture, or there's something sexual, and I was just like, I'm like turning red, trying to order my damn chicken fingers. It was so like, because it's not just sexual, it's also embarrassing for her, because like they're making her see shit, so it's like she's bearing her soul and other parts to the world. And like they're all just laughing at her, and so it's just like a big secondhand embarrassment plus all the sexual awkwardness, and I'm like, why does this keep happening when I'm walking to a business? Why does this book perfectly timed for me to walk from my house to Starbucks before it gets weird? There'll be like a whole chapter of talking about shade cure and their various magical properties. And then it's like, I want you inside me. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I'm thinking, right? Like romance is the most popular genre in the world, right? Like half of the people in here with headphones on probably listen to some audiobook or podcast or something. Like, who else in here is a pervert? Like who else in here is just listening to this stuff and like you've just grown callous to it? You're just sitting there ordering a coffee like nothing while somebody's just like making sweet love in your ear, and I'm like,
do they make sweet love, Ben? Do they have sound effects?
So there's a couple of times
you had to turn the speed up really, really high.
No, God, no. I usually listen. I'm not John Bierce. I usually listen I think I listened to this one at 1.5 times.
But there were some chapters that you listened at 4 times.
No, I listened to it all. It's not terrible. I don't think there was anything. Oh boy. Okay, there is one thing I'm going to say about the erotica portions of this, broadly speaking. There is a lot of tap dancing around the word vagina.
Yeah, they never use it. Because it's not sexy, Ben. Unlike cock.
They do say cock
throbbing
a lot. She's very comfortable with that. and God bless her,
But it would be weird if Ashley was like, "You want to touch my vajayjay?"
I understand that. I'm getting to a larger point
my
here.
silky pink curtains.
That was another on my bingo card. I knew that was going to come up at some point. So,
it's still so bad.
It's pretty rough, man.
Oh, just like Ashlyn and Morrow's like it, am I right?
Kinda.
Yeah, they do.
But no, so my point is, not only do we tap dance around the word vagina, we tap dance around any other noun for that anatomy. And it leads to some of the most awkward stuff. So I have a thought. Like, very rarely, and this is fine. It's totally fine. I don't have a problem with this. Very rarely is any sort of pleasure described in detail from the guy's perspective. They do describe Moros's pleasure, but they don't describe a lot of like the physical sensations, which makes sense. She doesn't, necessarily know what they feel like.
Pompeii.
But
I'm telling you, man.
Oh, Jesus. That's one not a lot of people are going to get. But
it's because I need to buy my short story, man.
Buy Nate's short story and find out what he did to the memory of Pompeii.
I immortalized it forever.
My point is, the difference being the female physical sensations are described in great detail. What each thing feels like, touching this part or this part or this part. And in doing so, doesn't want to use any of the common nouns for that. And yeah, I get that. Might find them crass or gross or whatever. So there's a lot of like searching your thesaurus for things. And I just don't know if the word opening is better.
That's what you went with.
I don't know if entrance is better. I feel like and I know I'm a 12-year-old boy when it comes to the maturity on this stuff. When you say entrance and opening, I'm thinking like structural details on the blueprints. Like, we're gonna knock out a wall, we're gonna put in a doorway there. And they're so like, it's just like, and then amidst that, so there's all this careful, delicate wording of like opening and entrance and felt the warmth of her around him and all that stuff. And then it's hot cock. And it's just like cock. And I'm like, I don't want to say, because I don't want to know what you would come up with.
This throbbing desire.
I'm surprised was that used? I don't think it was.
Oh, God. Let me see.
But she was definitely slick with desire.
Oh, yeah. The slippery evidence of her desire.
Oh, God. Yeah. No, like a seal it was.
I did picture the seal skin.
You do, because why is it slippery? That's not what you described that as. Slippery gives you the sensation of something sliding off of something. What are you doing?
Delectable mounds of flesh.
What even was that? Was that her ass? I don't know. I honestly didn't even know which part of her that was.
Slick flesh between her legs. That comment says, "Stop saying flesh, please."
I hate the word flesh. We all know this. I hate it for that reason, because
it "Is this what you want?" She laughed. Note says, and then his erection died and he sulked out of the shower.
I just... Slippery is a bad adjective for what's going on in that situation. So in that sense, I don't claim, I'm not you, I'm not Sarah Fine, I'm not going to write erotica. I never have written erotica. Well, God, I shouldn't say never with this fucking podcast.
Yeah,
Who knows
for
what you people are
a
gonna make me do.
sweet $50.
Oh, God, I'm tempted. I made the mistake of lowballing it last time. $100. Oh, God, I don't think anybody will give me $100.
I'm actually... Someone has told me that they will pay me to not write another one. So...
I'm with that person.
I might need...
Is that one of our patrons?
Yeah.
My favorite patron. I am so glad. Oh, God.
So
but
yeah.
The only note I think I gave you on yours was like I changed one of your descriptions of a bodily fluid to hot liquid sin. And I think hot liquid sin plays a lot better than slippery desire, you know? Right? Hot liquid sin, you're laughing. You know, it's funny. My point is, I guess because this is a book podcast, our mission statement is we try to figure out what works and we try to figure out what doesn't work. And I'm trying to learn something from every book. I'm trying to take notes. And I don't ever want to use this knowledge. It's forbidden. It's the dark arts. This is the dark magic of literature. But I would not describe that slippery. I take issue with some of the adjectives that were used. I think I, unfortunately, could make this sexier, but I won't. I quite simply do not have the self-confidence. So let's... You should really listen to that Nuzzle House episode.
Get back to the story?
He made me say some dumb shit, let me tell you.
I bet I can beat him in that department.
Not the contest I wanted to start, but...
The contest that I'm finishing.
Well, there you go, Glenn. If you're listening, this is the challenge. Who can make me say the dumber thing?
So yeah, Ashlyn's getting tortured. They're trying to implant memories. They're trying to get her to use the Sword of Life to stab Moros when he least suspects it. Remember that? Remember that plot line? Anyway, Moros goes, sees that Hugh has the Charon's medallion, the scope. And he's like, okay, kidnaps him, takes him to Wyoming, threatens to just eviscerate him right then and there. He also is like, that whole boardroom thing, totally pointless because I have to approve who the next Charon is, and I don't trust you, Hugh. You suck. And he starts reading Hugh's mind with his bad touch, and he's like, wait a minute. When did I get mind reading powers? Also, you've been f***ing my sister Nemesis. Remember to bleep that one out. There's a lot you're going to have to bleep out, Ben. So
he's really careful not to point out that it's Nemesis, though.
Yeah, he's like...
Which I didn't fully understand. I guess that works out. I guess Morrow secretly knew that Ashlyn would use that as like a shocking twist later.
Yeah, so he's like...
Because I would have been like, you were screwing my sister, man. And while I don't like my sister, I don't like that either. So...
Yeah.
I'm going to punch you in the schnoz.
Yeah, but anyway, he lets Hugh go. He's like, you know what? She's kind of hot. I'm going to claim her for myself. Goodbye. And then he waits for Hugh to make a phone call to be like, come to my office or something. I don't know what his plan was, but luring her to one place where Moros would get her would not be the best plan. But she shows up.
Why do you think she came?
What?
Wrong. I didn't mean to use those words. But
yeah,
like, why do you think she answered his call?
She's dumb? I don't know. She didn't seem like the thinker of the group.
So, like, your nemesis.
And, okay, he has 2 sisters and a brother, right? So he can spare one of the sisters. And Eris was in the last book, so, like, keep her around. Maybe she's more important. You don't want to get rid of the dude, so you go for Nemesis. You got to get rid of her somehow.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's just like, I'm Nemesis. I'm young. I'm hot. You know, I'm a god. And Hugh Ferry calls me, and he's like, I need you to get down here right now, honey. I'm like, no. I call you. You don't call me.
Yeah, but she was done torturing Ashlyn for a moment, so she's going to go to him, I guess. And then Moros overpowers her and goes to where Ashlyn is, who's being guarded by Trevor, by the way. And
I'm a dude.
Yeah. They rescue Trevor's soul in a big thing. Moros kills Nemesis. And they escape with the Blade of Life. Bummer, because he really needs that blade, Ben. Without that blade, chaos cannot be defeated.
Yeah. It's going to be a wild ride to watch them go on some sort of crazy Bilbo Baggins-esque quest to steal this blade from the dragon's hoard of treasures. I don't know how they're going to break in there and do that.
We'll leave off on the cliffhanger of Moros bones her back to sanity. All right.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. So, is that the end of this episode, Ben? I assume it is.
Yeah, I think we got more than enough.
Yeah. More than we could handle.
Plugs. We got a Twitter. If you want to contact us, it's WABpod for as long as that lasts. We got an Instagram at Words About Books Podcast. We got a blog, blog.wordsaboutbooks.ninja. And we got a Patreon, patreon.com/WABpod. Speaking of our Patreon, we've got 2 shout-outs to Brad, aka Isekai Sensei Sama. He has asked that his shout-out direct people to animepodcasterreincarnation.com, where you can get all of the links for his various projects. And we've got James of the If You Want the Gravy blog, where he reviews movies, sodas, cereals, and everything in between. I also have a question I'm putting out. It's to patrons, possibly as well as the general public. Twitter kind of sucks these days. So, thinking about starting a Words About Books Discord. Would anyone join it? I don't want to go through the embarrassment of having an empty Discord. But, yeah, we all used to talk on Twitter and now we don't. So, Words About Books Discord. Something I'm thinking about. Let me know what you think.
Yeah. Let us know, you... God. Join our Discord or you're not cool.
I'm
Think about
so
that.
glad you're passionate.
Think about that.
Ideas.
Think about that.
I love that you're on board with this Discord. I just need you to dial it back like 2 notches.
Absolutely not, and you can't make me.